All right, hi there. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through my hybrid mixing template setup. Um, it's not really a template in the traditional sense. A template will tend to have things like you would have your buses and your effects already set up, ready to go. But because of the nature of the setup, I know that I've got quite a few different styles of songs and I'm not quite sure where the production's leading yet, so I'm leaving it very open. But I will walk you through what I probably would do. I have a track here that's relatively correct for what I think um, Finn's eventual product will be, but I think it'll probably be a little more in depth than this. But yeah, this is just a standard like track. You get the picture. It's quite a normal track. So what I'm doing is, and this is the crux of hybrid mixing, is you see these stacks. These stacks are called summing stacks. And what they let you do is they essentially run each of these individual channels. This is my drum bus. Each of these channels will run into this main drum channel before going to the master out. What that enables me to do is affect the entire stack before it hits the master out, and it doesn't individually affect each of these. It affects the master out into the drum stack. And what I mean, so for example, let's get a reverb send. So for my buses, I don't have any buses set up just because I don't want to presume anything yet. I'm sure you'll see in the streams what I end up doing. But yeah, so I'm going to use bus 16 because that's my standard bus that I like to put reverb. I'll use Pro R standard reverb. And as you can tell now, this is my drums. They already have a bit of verb on. And there we go. With one plugin and a turn of the bus, turn of the level of the bus here, instantly I'm affecting that entire setup. And that's the crux of hybrid mixing, if I'm totally honest. And that's why I have it set up like this. So I have my drums, bass, guitar, keys, backing vox, and lead vocal stacks. Now the lead vocals aren't in a stack currently because on this track it's just one track. You don't need a stack because it's pointless to stack one track. It's the same thing. But if I were, for example, having multiple chunks of lead vocals in different parts, if they were recorded on different microphones, then there would be a summing stack for lead vocals as well. And what this allows me to do is it lets me piece out my work. So, okay, I just want to start mixing these drums. So say we just make that small EQ adjustment, and then we run it into a into this. Oh gosh, I am on the vocal stack. No worries, no worries. You see how instantly I can just affect this sound. Do that on there. And that's what's really nice about hybrid mixing. And that's why I have this template set up in the way that I do. That's just the basics of it. Obviously, it gets more in depth. For example, each of these individual tracks will have probably this channel strip on it. I may use the Neve channel strip that is included in the plugin alliance, but probably not. This is going to be the only plugin that I have on every single channel, or at least on most channels, depending on if my computer can handle streaming and doing this at the same time. But hopefully I'll be able to have this on each. And what this allows me to do is it allows me to get basically a console workflow, because this is a replica of Solid State Logic Console. And I'm sure down below there'll be a section in my plugin write-up mentioning this. And yeah, this is the 9000J SSL console. And having this on each of my tracks lets me basically work like an actual mixing engineer working on a desk. Because instead of having these extremely close analytical tools like Pro C2 and Pro Q3, I can use these more analog style tools, and it lets me emulate that slightly fuzzy around the edges kind of thing that you would get from a more old recording, while still keeping that digital presence and modern levels, if you know what I mean. It's not like this sort of washed out sound because of the analog gear sometimes. And that's what I like about hybrid mixing, is that it's extremely versatile. If I want, I can get extremely analytical. For example, say if this kick's bad, right? It's all right, but I could get in there with this, add some meat, and then compress it. Flipping a little, so we bring that down. And now, that'll overall affect the other elements in the drum bus, but it won't affect everything like going top down will. And that's my hybrid mixing setup. It's not necessarily the most complex, but it acts as a very good starting point to then build more complex routings with. And that's why I'm not routing straight away. I'm still relatively new to building templates like this, so I don't want to be presumptuous with my routings because they may be incorrect and it may just end up leading more confusion and more problems further down the road, which may slow me down. I hope you enjoyed that, and I will see you further down the page.